Today I got myself Brand Pilsner. There we go.
Bronto pills?
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, and also those that do not assign any kind of gender to themselves, whatever. This is a new episode of Radio Rothingham, the world's least professional podcast on the internet.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why is there a entry about me signing the package when I did not sign the package?
Oh dear.
Good job. So you bought something and they're telling you that you signed for it but you didn't?
Oh, it's a nice little story.
Okay.
Actually, we can start with the story. I was buying a lens from a guy in Slovakia,
Uh-huh.
and he lives in a city that's basically near the border. So I was like, okay, I could be there in like 3 hours on the weekend, or you can use the one of the couriers here. You know, we have PDP, PPL, UPC, and GLS around here. He chose GLS, and he's like, okay, I'm going to send it COD to you, and he sent it COD to me. And then the page that's used for tracking the package didn't work for a day and a half. And when it worked, the package was in Zvolen, which is a city that's in the fucking middle of the Slovakia. So the thing went the opposite side.
Of course.
In the opposite direction, of course, yes. And then the next day it happened to be in Czech Republic. I don't know why, but it was. And on the Slovak page, it was like the package is in a car and it's going to be delivered during the day. And on the Czech tracker, it was like to be delivered.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the first mistake you made was ordering or having your package shipped by GLS.
GLS, yes.
Yeah, GLS, they suck.
Yes, Artrix, we noticed that.
Yes.
Because this is not the end of it.
Oh,
so
God.
the package actually came 4 days, or let's say 3 days. Oh, 4, because whatever. 3.5 days after he posted it. And he came in, and the guy is like, you are you. Yes, I am me. He gave me a package. Now I have a package. And he was like, okay, that's all. Have a nice day. It's like, wait a moment. This was supposed to be COD. It's like, really? He bent over, looked at the package. Like, no, there's nothing like it. If it was COD, there would be a mark here. Okay, that's weird. I now have a freelance.
Seriously?
Yeah. So.
How?
Well, it was supposed to be COD, but the package was not marked as such. So I was not.
In other words, it was marked to be paid at the delivery.
COD is cash on delivery.
Ah, okay.
Well,
And
the,
and
So basically, the guy selling it just lost a shit ton of cash.
exactly.
no, the package courier will have to take responsibility for that.
Yep.
Well, yeah, obviously. So I emailed the guy, and he was like, "What the fuck?" Now I get why people have such problems and don't send stuff to COD. Like, yeah, I agree. But what are you going to do about this? Should I call them so there's nothing missing and they are not going to send low sharks after me because I didn't pay? And I was like, no, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to ask them. He went back to the place he sent it from, and he asked them what the fuck, and they didn't know. So he called the support line and asked them what the fuck. And they're like, well, we actually don't ship COD from Slovakia to Czech Republic. I was like, what? I got a receipt that I paid the COD. The person behind the counter let me do it. You have it on the web, then you send stuff to Czech Republic.
So in other words, if you run a business, you could even like get a refund on VAT. You could be like, okay, I made a business expense. Here's the receipt.
Yes,
Give me VAT.
So I went to the web after he sent me this. Indeed, they state explicitly that they send COD to Czech Republic. Yet he was told that.
Good fucking
they
job.
told- And he was like, okay, well, that's nice. When am I getting my money back? They're like, file a complaint. You'll have 30 days to respond. It's like, wait, I have my money. Have a nice day. And that was it.
So in other words, well, you got yourself a free dance basically, while everyone
Yeah,
else has to fuck around and see.
Obviously, I sent him the money directly to his account, and that was it.
That's
Now-
very kind
now-
of you.
Now he's well, I have the stuff and it's okay, so why wouldn't I? And yeah, now he's going to file a complaint, and there's going to be some fun out of it. Fucking hell.
Wow.
He got
Best
told
would
that they are not doing this type of service for Czech Republic while their webpage explicitly states so. I don't understand. This is
The
beautiful.
best part would be if he managed to make the post give him the money he was supposed to be paid.
That would be beautiful.
Like, you wouldn't have to say that you paid him already through a
Yeah.
different mean. Just say that he lost money because of them.
Yeah.
Legitimately, they are responsible. They signed a contract with him to take cash on delivery. So
It's true.
Yeah.
They're like they have it. Well, they don't call it COD. They call it cash something because they have to be cool, but it's basically the principle. They explicitly stated that they send it to Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovenia, stuff like that.
Even
No,
Luxembourg?
No,
Oh,
that's not a real country.
That's so true.
Well, yeah. So the package just happened. It wasn't COD at all. Just came in and I had it.
That's hilarious.
It is. As for the lens, it's okay and it works. That's good.
Sweet.
So it's moderner than the one I already have. So I'm like, okay, why is this ring rotating perpetually? Why is there no stop on it? Like, oh, okay, that's actually a focus help. It's not a real focus. You can focus while you are having the camera set on auto.
I heard you
That's
like
kinda-
I heard you like focusing, so you can focus while you focus.
Focus is very important.
Mm.
Like, you have to handle the zoom yourself, but the focus is automatic. So you're like, okay, I don't like this automatic focus. Just fiddle with the ring.
Mhm.
And then you get all those artsy photos with all the blur. So you don't even have to use Instagram filters.
My God,
Or
you
snap.
can actually use your machine to do what it's designed for now.
Yeah. I mean,
What's this rod coming to?
that's why I bought a half professional camera, because what's the thing about the cheaper cameras? I mean, they are cheaper, right? And I guess people like that, but for me, there's one very important thing. The half professional ones actually have buttons on them. The cheaper ones, they do everything through the display and the menus. And it's terrible.
Sounds pretty intimidating.
I like the buttons.
Buttons
Everyone.
are good.
Lot of buttons is fun.
Yes, exactly.
Well, since we're talking about buying used shit, anyways, I also have a
Also,
little.
I bought a used phone, but I probably told you already.
No, actually, you didn't. So how did that turn out? And what sort of phone did you get?
It cost as much as the lens.
Oh,
Well, actually a bit more, because that was from Czech Republic, so there was a COD that actually worked.
mhm.
Well, it's an LG G3.
Is it a smartphone?
It's very smart.
Does it
It-
can
it-
predict
it-
your future?
Yes.
Wow.
It told me what weather is going to be tomorrow.
Wow. Well, welcome to the 21st century.
Yeah,
How does
I
it,
have no idea what I'm going to use it for except stealing Wi-Fi.
So how does it make you feel? How does
Actually,
it,
that's the point of smartphones, isn't it? Stealing Wi-Fi and photos.
yes. So how
Pretty
does
much,
it?
yeah.
So how does it feel that now that you live in the 21st century with all the other?
I found out that 21st century has battery life of 6 hours.
Mhm. That's
That's
very,
not very good.
Yeah,
well, unless you're using a Nintendo Switch, it might be close to 3 hours. So.
it's less. How does that help me?
Uh, can you change the battery on that terribly used phone?
because
Actually, you can.
I-
It's
I-
fairly easy to disassemble, from what I gather. Like,
No, I was
I-
talking about his phone, not the
Right.
not the Switch.
Panboy, I wouldn't buy a phone that has a built-in battery that you can change without just ungluing everything. This is kind of important feature for me,
Do you think you have a choice in the modern phone market?
I kind of did. Well, it wasn't modern. It was from 2011, I think.
Well, see, there you go. That's
Yes.
because your phone's not modern. That's why you got the choice.
Yes. Well, I don't have the choice of SIMs. It has only one SIM slot.
Oh, no.
Yes,
Most phones do.
So now I can switch between a sim for work and sim for not work. Well, the gist of this phone is it's for work.
Good
And
job.
for people who are not going to call me while I'm at work. Unlike the old one, which had the numbers for everybody and from everybody.
Well, now that we're talking about buying used shit anyways.
Yes.
So I also have a little anecdote about used shit. So the other day I wanted to print something and print was like, fuck you Artrix, and it decided to no longer print black. So I guess the printer was really racist all of a sudden. So it's like, you all mate, why you not print? And the printer was like, I'm fucking racist, mate. I'm not printing no black. So
As you do.
so I tried to indoctrinate it. So I tried to install a new.
Assuming direct control.
Exactly. So that's what I did. I took a new printhead. I tried to jam it in there, and for one, for a moment it seemed to work because it printed one entire page with blank ink, and then it was like error du script. So it's like, wait, what? And I tried all sorts of things, but this brand new print I had that I bought about a year ago didn't work. So I called up the fuckers at HP. I was like, hey, I still got warranty on this thing. And they were like, yeah, you have to go to the reseller. So I called up the retailer, and they were like, yeah, your warranty expired by about 3 months.
Wait, after a year?
Yes. So I was like, fuck. So I was getting pretty tired of all of this. So I decided, you know what, it's an old printer, so let's see what I can find on the buy and sell. And I found a printer that's better than my current one for 35 quid. It was like, hey, dude, I'll give you 20 quid for it. And he was like, sure, just come pick it up. So I went there and I picked it up. And he was like, yeah, I still got a few more cartridges laying around, but they were in the process of moving, so it's like, I'm just gonna send them to you. So I brought it home. I spruced it up. There were a few little defects to it, but a bit of tinkering gets you a long way. And now I basically got a brand new printer for 20 quid. So that's one of the few times when buy and sell is actually useful for something.
You basically got a printer for half the price of a cartridge of ink. That's kind of hilarious.
Yes, that is.
And you said you gave you several cartridges?
Yeah, he even sent me a few in the mail, which cost him like 7 quid, and he didn't even charge extra for that because, well, it is kind of fair because he did say in his ad, yeah, I got like a few extra cartridges. So, but it's obviously that he just wanted to get rid of it and didn't really care about getting any money out of it. But yeah, that was a pretty sweet deal for me. So yeah,
because print ink costs a fortune. It's literally the most expensive substance on the planet, or close to it, anyway.
Yeah, you like go to the store and like, hey, my printer ran out of ink, and then they're like, okay, let's talk about a financing plan. Wait, what?
No, they are like, my printer ran out of ink, and they are like, well, here's a new printer, it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's cheaper to just buy a new printer.
Basically, if I want to replace all 2 cartridges that I have in my printer, it's actually exactly as much as the printer cost.
Well, the printer that I'm currently using.
So I solve it by not printing ever and just using the printer I have at work.
The thing about my printer is it uses off-brand cartridges now, and it works just fine.
Well, Artrix, let me tell you a thing about my old HP. What was it called? DeskJet, I think. My old HP DeskJet printer. Several years it printed from cartridges that were opened and filled with normal ink that's used for pens.
Oh, refillables, yeah.
No, they were not refillables. Well, that is not officially.
Not officially, but they were modded so you can just refill them yourself.
Well, they were not that difficult. Just open them and you take a syringe, you fill it with ink that you bought in the shop, in the stationery shop, and then you just plug it in. It wasn't special printer ink. It was normal ink that you put into pens. The printer survived it. Actually, it stopped working at the end, but it wasn't because of ink-related issues. There was a cog that just stopped cogging. Yeah.
That might have something to do with the type of ink you put in there, though.
No, it was just a cog that was glued to a place, and it unglued itself from the place. That's all.
Right.
I don't know why didn't they use glue. Like, no, it's on a metal bar. Why would you use glue to hold it in place? They did.
It's very important. You have to use all the glue.
Yes.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Yeah. But just don't get your hands on the ink. I mean,
Yeah.
this ink, as long as it's liquid ink, it's okay. But then you have those cartridges that use a toner, which is very, very, very fine ink dust. And once you get it on yourself, nothing will help you. Ever.
It's gonna be part of you forever.
Yeah. It's worse than glitter. It's like that laterite that's in Africa. Like you go to Africa and you step out of the boat or a plane and you are red for your entire life. Because that's how the eroded stuff in Africa works.
Also, now that I think of it, I got this printer. It's even got like an extra document tray. And I remember that fucker costing like at least 90 quid in the store when I bought this printer.
Ooh.
So just to have an additional tray, you had to pay 90 quid extra. And the guy used it 3 times. Because
Nice.
I opened the statistics page of a printer and it was like, this tray's been used 3 times. So that's like 30 quid per page.
Wow. Artrix obviously didn't have any extra documents.
Well, the guy was using a Mac, so that does show, you know, what sort of user we're talking about here. Because
Can Macs even process printers? I mean, really?
well, he was complaining that the software for the Mac was kind of lacking, so yes.
It can't. It
Of
probably
course.
still uses serial port with like 17 dongles.
Oh no! This one's super modern. It's got like fucking Ethernet and even Wi-Fi. I don't even have to wire it up. All I need to do is just plug in power and fucker's ready to go.
Well, Wi-Fi printers are fun. You can send stuff to people's computers from people's computers.
And then everything goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Oh well, it's a printer. Going horribly, horribly wrong is just a question of time.
Yes.
Printers all like, yeah, I support the latest security policies. WEP.
But I don't support my drivers.
Well, yeah, they
and-
never do.
Yeah, I mean, there was another printer over distance, over RDP at the client. And you know how we solved it? By getting another printer. Because that one just couldn't. And it doesn't help that you go to the manufacturer's page. Like, okay, printer. Type. Printer not found. Okay, fine. Series of the printer. Not found. Related. Different series. Okay, click on it. Oh, there's the printer. It's under different series. Why not? Then you click on it. You go to download. And then there's manual. There's technical guide. There's some promo materials. And then there's like universal printing driver.
Good job.
Why did I bother going here and finding the model of the printer when you are not going to give me the driver for the specific printer? I could have just gone to add a driver and download this from the internet. Well, then you install it and it's like, well, this printer still doesn't work. And then you uninstall it, install it again a bunch of times, and then it prints. But all your characters are turned into soup.
And it only prints once.
Yes, that also happens sometimes.
Just like my printer did when I
Or
installed new.
or it decides to print only on specific computers. Or specific documents. Because printers.
Printers are dicks.
Yeah,
basically.
then they replaced the printer, and you know what I had to do? Absolutely nothing. The drivers that were already there worked instantly.
Wow. But
I've-
these printers are absolute dicks. We have actually 2 printers that work right now because the one we're using the last few years is actually on his last, basically on his last few days or something,
Hmm.
and it's basically dying. And I don't know, if you send off a document, sometimes it arrives like 5 minutes later, half an hour later, the next day.
That sounds
Then
more.
it prints.
That sounds more like a fucked up spooler than anything, or rip unit than anything else.
Guys,
No,
let
it's
me tell
no,
you.
the actually printing and copying, like Xeroxing, works fine. It's
Yeah,
just like if you send off a document.
like I said, the Ripper is really fucked up, which is basically the component of the printer that converts your computer data into data that the printer understands. But if that unit is all fucked up, yeah, then it's gonna take really long for the.
But yeah, we have a new printer standing next to it, but we can't use it yet because it's not set up, and it's standing there for like 3 weeks, I think.
Probably for the same reason that they haven't fixed the printer that's broken, because
Yeah.
nobody knows how to set up a printer.
You don't really set up a printer. You just plug it in,
That
tries
works,
a few
right?
functions. If it works, you just leave it alone and do the functions that work. And if it don't work well, then you just spend a day and a half googling.
I'll tell you, I used to have a HP 500C, and we had that printer from about 1989 until the year 2000. It worked perfectly. Never had any problems with it whatsoever. We had to get a new printer because HP stopped making the cartridges for that printer.
Aww.
See, the thing was, the cartridges for that printer had built-in print heads.
Oh,
Unlike all the new printers, which
Oh, wow.
the print heads are built into the printer. So the cartridges were absurdly expensive because the cartridge literally was the printer. but HP eventually stopped making them, and ever since then, I've went through about one printer every other time I need to print something.
Oh,
you know what's
God.
fun about the old one, old printer with all that ink that wasn't supposed to be nowhere near the printer?
Mm-hmm.
That was also cartridges with their own print heads,
Oh,
and they were tiny. It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't that expensive. Well, they were probably as expensive as the one as I have right now, but I have no idea if that has print heads or not. But yeah,
Anyways,
those printers used to work. Modern printers are crap.
they don't work. They just like no. They're basically instant use stuff. One time only. Then you throw it out and buy a new one the next time you want to print.
well, that's the interesting thing about my current printer, because yes, that fucker is 10 years old, but you just go to buy it, sell, you buy a used printer, and it works just fine. And
Oh yeah, because the older it is, Artrix, the bigger chance it's going to work.
Hmm.
Mostly.
Pretty much.
I mean, that there was this big fucker of a printer that a lady from the next office wanted to set up. Well, wanted to set up. It was more like her computer blew up after a virus, and she needed to set it up again
Mhm.
because her antique DOS program from the 90s that she runs on XP, you know, these sort of problems. It can only pick up on printer port because it's hard coded into the program, and I have no idea how to set it up because it doesn't even use his MAC addresses. It uses some
arbitrary.
weird machine scrambled code that I have no idea what it even means. I would have to be a manufacturer of the printer to get it, I guess. So yeah, it's hard coding into the program, and I can do shit about it. It's just set to the LPT port. So I'm like, okay, well, then I guess we are just using the serial printer then, except it doesn't work. Oh, you have 3 serial ports, and LPT1 isn't the first one. Okay. I spent 15 minutes. 15 minutes thinking about what's going to be wrong. And then I found out that LPT1 actually isn't LPT1.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic computer conundrums. Maybe you should bring up an actual topic, because
Hey, printers are a good topic.
well, that was a nice little anecdote to bring to
I
start.
think it is relatable.
Yes, and that too. You know,
Everyone loves printers.
including Reaper, who I'm drawing right now. I'm pretty sure he really fucking loves printers, especially when Sombra's sitting there fucking about, and it's like, Sombra, the printer doesn't.
Unquote, hacking.
Yes. Sombra, the
Sombra is about as much of a hacker as Aiden Pierce from Watch Dogs.
Yes. So he's like, hey, Sombra, the print isn't working. It's like hola or some other Spanish crap. And then he's like, I'm going to unplug the router. I'm going to unplug the router because I'm very good at tech because I'm Reaper.
Yes.
And all.
He unplugs the router by shooting the socket.
Yes.
Oh, that Reaper.
Oh, Reaper. We need to. They need to make like a sitcom, and it's like a Seinfeld of Seinfeld style.
Sombrafeld.
Yeah, Somerville, and it's full of left tracks and whatnot.
Also, Door Reaper as a creeper from Minecraft.
Yes, that too, and well, he needs more dank meme. So,
Yes.
well, he's and Sombra says boop all the fucking time. Every other sentence is we're going boop because dank memes XD.
Yes, because Blizzard is good at dang memes.
They sure
Not
are.
forced at all.
It was not forced at all.
Speaking of forcing,
Cheers, boop.
yes, speaking of forcing and Blizzard, Blizzard has launched an update for the Battle.net launcher today.
Oh no.
As they renamed it to Blizzard. So
Oh.
Battle.net is now called Blizzard.
Oh,
I was wondering why did it want me to log into Blizzard? Like what? I don't work at Blizzard. Fuck off.
Yeah, why would I actually did hear they were trying to get away from the Battle.net brand for a while, but I've never understood why.
Panboy, it's because they hate stuff from them that used to be good. Because they're like, people like this shit because it's good. That we can stand. Our current products have no chance against this.
That's probably true. They're trying to put all their success behind us.
Exactly, that's what happens if you have to deal with shareholders. That's what they want to have. They think like, oh god, maybe it's better print awareness or something.
I kind of forgot what was the joke I was making that they are going to rename Battle.net to. I think it was something like Launcher Online or something like that. If I actually said Blizzard Online back then I was so close that I didn't even know.
Regardless, it's retarded.
I don't understand how they can really rename Battle.net because that's been a staple of their multiplayer stuff since half of the 90s.
Yeah.
There seems to be a trend happening right now in big game industry where all the big game industry players are trying to not be big game industry players.
But too late. They are mired in cash politics so much that they cannot be big industry players anymore. Like that stopped for Blizzard. It stopped the moment they got bought out by Activision, and basically the guy from Activision said, I'm not going to quote it verbatim because I don't remember, but he mentioned that he's sending the packaged goods boys to Blizzard. Yeah, that's how all that instant gratification and browser type shit arrived them. It's like, oh wait, this makes more money. You know, we should stop. We should stop with this. Making games is fun. We should stop that and start making games profitable. Yeah, and that's how you get stupid games. Like today's industry is full of them. Like every fucking game that's a bit of action needs to be sandboxy and had crafting and 60,000 collectibles, and then you have all this kind of stuff, all of them, but the essence of the game is gone because you have 60,000 shit things to do, and none of them excels in any way. And your story inevitably ends up being bland as fuck because, you know, sandbox form. You can't really tell something in a sandbox. At least I haven't seen a sandbox that attempted that successfully.
That is what you get when you waste money on making your game as up-to-date as possible. Like, just use some older tech, save money,
and then stylize it, for God's sake. Stylized games look good. Mostly.
And they look good later in a few years.
Exactly. I mean, that was the case with MMOs. World of Warcraft kind of still looked okay, but all the games that try to be realistic, like Age of Conan, they look so terrible.
Yeah, I said, stop trying to look real.
Actually, I would make the case that even the new models. My opinion. Yeah, I forgot what I was to be.
Stop
talking
trying
about,
to
so-
be realistic and instead save money and be fun again.
Yeah, well, you've seen with the recent Ass Effect that using all the tech
Oh, the pro-
might
well,
not
you-
be ideal every time. The problem is that Mass
Um,
Effect new one is using all the tech with all the and very good animations, obviously, but it's also streamlined more than the third one was. So all the RPG stuff that's in that, the role-playing part that you have in discussions and dialogues, I mean, basically boils down to blue answer, red answer. Be a good person, be a jackass. And that's it. Where's the role-playing? What is this? Why are you offering me 2 roles to play with?
Don't you understand? People can't understand more complex choices than I'm a good guy or I'm a bad guy.
Oh no.
I mean, even basic Dungeons and Dragons has a more complex morality system.
Choose
Don't
your
be
own adventure
ridiculous.
books have more complex reality system than new Mass Effect. Come on.
They got rid of choice in D&D 3 or 4.
4, that was the terrible one.
Don't worry, they brought it back in 5.
Yeah, 5.
That was the
Actually,
not so
5 is
creative
the
one.
only D&D I personally know. Yeah, I'm a noob.
Noob.
Nope.
I played so many computer games based on 3.5. Temple of Elemental Evil, namely. That was a good game. And it had actual dialogue options that even varied with how much intelligence or charisma the person had. It's not a good idea to let the barbarian speak for the party. Like, I smash. No, don't smash, talk. I smash! And then he smashed.
Smash is the only option.
Yeah, and if you used somebody who had high charisma, you actually could convince some of the villains to join you. That was pretty cool.
I did actually play a paladin with very, very high charisma at one point, and I realized that sometimes smashing is the best option.
Smashing is always the best option.
Oh,
I play a wizard with high intelligence, and I go into a room and blow everyone up, and then ask questions.
well, obviously. So the guy who joined you in Temple of Elemental Evil was very good at smashing.
Mhm.
So in that case, it was worth it to postpone the smashing for a bit to have more smashing later.
I don't understand what
That's
you're
a
saying.
sound argument.
Well, they
Postpone.
used to be so refined in the older games. I mean, I don't know how old games because I never played Baldur's Gate, but I suppose it had something similar. Or played Skate Torment, which is apparently the best dialogue game ever.
Do you remember when video
It
games
was.
were good?
Too bad the sequel sucks.
I remember when video games were good. I don't think good anymore.
There are still some good games, only not by the big
Oh,
developers.
yes, mainly from hipsters because indies. Now the thing about indies is, as I keep saying, that they are being done mostly as they were as games period were done in the 90s, which is 5 people in a garage or 5 people in an office because we have Kickstarter now. But they are just sitting around doing the stuff they want to do, and hope they get money for it. Unlike the big corporation, which are like, okay, we need money. This sells. Build a game around it.
So in other words, both are business models that have it completely backwards. Good job.
The most important thing is that they make games that appeal to me and nobody else.
Obviously, I mean that's why you closely follow the people in the garages.
So
And the moment they make a single mistake, you yell at them shit all over their forums, and just never talk to them again.
So you're saying that you're one of those misogynist anime avatars that arrest the Mass Effects for not living up, and also whatever. I was trying to segue.
Ridiculous.
I think those people actually care about the quality of the game.
I couldn't possibly be one of those people because I don't care about Mass Effect.
This is true. I mean,
But
I just said they care about the quality of the game, and this is a Mass Effect game. right?
I mean, I understand that people are very upset that this game has disappointed them. I am thankfully not in their audience.
But it has skin tight spacesuits. I hope they kept that part of the game because I hated it and loved it at the same time. That everybody in that game looks like from 80s sci-fi porn.
They made sci-fi porn in the 80s.
They
Well,
made
it
all
was
the
the
sci-fi
80s.
porn in the 80s.
Yeah.
They made so much everything in the 80s, really.
But you know what company was really good at handling criticism and customer dissatisfaction? The people
Oh.
behind Lele Yuka, whatever it is,
Oh,
Yooka-Laylee,
yeah.
Yeah.
because
I have no idea what that is, nor I watched the video yet.
yes, but okay, so I think by now we all know what happened with JohnTron. He came on some weird ass show and he was, he spoke his mind. He was like, yeah, I think these are my opinions.
I don't
And
like
everyone-
his face. He's annoying. His entire career is based on being annoying.
Well, most YouTube celebrities did.
Well, Total Biscuit didn't.
Yeah, but he
Actually,
still
actually, you
annoys
can.
people.
Actually, you don't even need the word YouTube because pretty much all celebrities are annoying.
Well,
this is true.
Sean Connery isn't.
I don't know.
What is
He
he-
can be
so
pretty
There are
annoying.
exceptions to the rule, of course.
The one exception that being Sean Connery.
Usually, the celebrities that don't go to the internet aren't annoying.
Yes, and Christopher Lee. They just gave him all the roles because they feared him.
So yeah. One moment.
Never. Quick,
Climb.
throw Artrix office out of the window while he's not looking.
No, I'm here. Someone tried to call me. I was like, "Fuck off!" in the middle of the recording. So I lost my train of thought. So yeah, JohnTron basically expressed a few opinions that some people kind of described as, well, he's basically literally Hitler Nazi, and they treat it as if it's well, this isn't reason enough to wish all the awful things to him and whatnot. Apparently he had like a little role in Yooka-Laylee, like he voiced one of the characters, and that company was like, you know what, fuck off. We're going to remove you from this game. You're no longer in it because you're Nazi and we don't like you. And some of the developers basically behind his back were like snickering and basically telling. Well, they were basically like, look at all these people wanting a refund and whatnot. Like all these anime avatars and whatnot. They're all just fucking awful people. And this would even be fine. It wasn't for the fact that they were talking about their customers. So these are people that are paying them for, well, basically their livelihood, and they're just shitting in their face. Like, well, literally, like, just they're just squatting there, just pooping in their face like that.
Yeah. They are German.
No,
So-
they're British.
Yeah, they are British.
So yeah,
Yeah, but-
I would say these are very well-adjusted and upstanding citizens. So what do you guys think about it?
They must burn in hell.
I think they must be German.
Because
Yeah.
I mean,
But I somehow think there's something lacking, like this step between JohnTron saying things and then removing him from JohnTron, because I can't imagine they did it on their own volition. It was most likely that they had like some fans or an angry mob telling them to remove him, because I don't think they would do it on their
But there is something you must realize. Those
these
angry
people.
mob types, they don't buy video games.
putting fan back in offended.
wasn't it NeoGaf that basically went after JohnTron and were like, hey,
Yeah.
developers,
I think lots of people went after JohnTron. They're like, this man is saying stuff that we don't like. Never talk to this man. or his wife again.
Well, at least he's got a wife and not, his
I don't know if he has a
wife's
wife.
daughter. I
That's
don't know.
meme.
Never
The same
talk,
with-
never
the
talk
same-
to my wife's son ever again. That sort of thing.
The same thing
Please.
with the terrible Swedish guy. Again, he said a thing that people didn't like. So the people were like, never talk to this man again. Disney dropped that shit. Disney dropped that shit. The Swedish guy was basically unfazed.
Yep, because it was like I still make millions.
Yeah.
And it's like this on the internet. And YouTube has made a brilliant new function.
Oh yeah, that too. They're
Oh,
Oh yeah,
like,
you mean that they banned gays from the main site?
Well, it's that was not intentional, but it's gays, so obviously that's the reason people notice, because how dare you ban gays? It's a new function that's off by default, thank God. But if you turn it on, or if YouTube decides to turn it on by default, it's just going to hide stuff that's deemed inappropriate.
mhm.
And what do you do to deserve an inappropriate status? Well, you either get reported by fellow YouTubers, I guess it's one of those heroic types, or for other reasons.
Well,
In other words,
There's no list of these other reasons
Nope.
or factors. So loosely translated, it's YouTube can do whatever it wishes.
I was curious about this, so I went and checked my YouTube channel page, where I have posted like 5 half-arsed Let's Play videos
But you
over the last decade.
Yeah, exactly.
And I went down there and I turned on restricted mode, and I noticed half of my videos are blocked.
Huh.
And this was before I ever went on YouTube and said anything at all political. I think maybe it was because I was shooting communists.
Oh yeah, that's definitely big. That
You
would
don't
get you
just
flagged
shoot
immediately. Yeah. Those poor communists are just trying to bring about socialism. That's perfectly normal.
they kill everyone they disagree
I
with.
mean, like, you shouldn't just shoot communists, man, but they are not Stalin. Stalin did it wrong, but these communists would do it totally right. Come on.
Yeah,
But
I mean Hitler was totally evil, but Stalin he was the good guy.
That was alright. I mean, he didn't get the communism stuff,
Well,
as well as he should have. But if you give me a complete power over your country for 20 years, I'm totally going to get it right.
Yep. So we just have to try it again, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, the communism good, but Hitler, ooh, that's wrong.
Hmm.
Well,
This
it's
is-
more
this
like
is-
communism good, Stalin bad, be
Mhm.
better now, which is, by the way, which is exactly what the heads of the communist state said after Stalin's death. Like, okay, Stalin good, please don't execute me. And then Stalin died, and they were like, okay, maybe the stuff that Stalin did was not that good.
can't imagine why I would say that. Obviously, everything Stalin did was perfect.
I know, right?
But
Since
yeah,
we
the-
are talking about YouTube anyway, there's also another piece of news that was kind of going under. Some big companies actually are pulling out of the YouTube advertising stuff. Basically, they are not paying YouTube anymore. AT&T, Verizon, and Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson and Johnson.
So these
Sure.
were
Not paying YouTube because of banning gay stuff.
so in
Yeah,
other
they are
words,
they are not paying YouTube because their ads get features in front of videos that they don't want their products to be associated with. As long YouTube doesn't solve this problem, they are not gonna make
Yeah,
business with them.
coincidentally, that's the Google's new policy, because they noticed that people have ads in front of something they don't like. So Google is like, we're going to give advertisers and the people who use the advertisements more power. So that kind of removes the point of AdSense, because AdSense is just like, we are giving you ads. We don't care about ads. We have all this data on you. We know where you're going to work and what you're buying for lunch. So we are going to give you ads based on that.
yes.
I don't care what videos they are. The videos don't matter. It's just this gray box with our ads in it. But apparently people have this strange, what's the word? Notion that what appears in the box is directly endorsed by the person who did the video. I don't know why.
Now,
And apparently that's why Google or Johnson and whatnot are pulling their ads, and that is supposedly why YouTube has added restricted mode as well.
Yep.
So that, you know,
All those bad people endorsing these companies can't endorse the companies anymore. Or they can, but they will not be seen.
And eventually YouTube will realize, or Google realize, that pretty much every video isn't suitable for advertising. Because if something's always be gonna controversial.
Well, that's why they have YouTube Heroes. We forgot about that.
Gonna
Yeah,
sanitize
you know-
YouTube until no one fucking goes there anymore, because
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, if you're gonna filter out every controversial video, every bad video, what you're gonna be left with? You're
Hell.
not gonna have much left to advertise.
hell, even this video is probably controversial. Someone's probably watching it going like, oh my god, these guys are literal Nazis.
Yeah. Oh my god, they said nigger.
well, you said the word Nazi and you said nigger, so yeah, this video is on the restricted
It's the
list.
Nazi nigger video.
Speaking of which, apparently another video was marked to not be legible for monetization, and I think it was because we mentioned Nazis in the video description, so it wasn't even in the title.
Oh, but Nazis are delicious.
Well, yeah, that's very true. They are super delicious, but it was reason.
Nazis are coming.
But apparently, it was reason enough to to demonetize the video. Not like we're making a.
But what if you make a video about punching Nazis? Huh?
That's a good.
No, that would get promoted. That would be on the front page.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like okay, there's the word Nazi, that's bad, but there's punching Nazis, that's good. What to do?
Stupid liberals.
Speaking of pseudo-terrorist organizations, one of the heads of the old school IRA died last week.
Oh no.
Martin McGuinness, big Sinn Féiner in Ireland. You know, I really like the way the world is going these days. You know, Ireland had so many acts of terrorism going up to the 80s and 90s, and then we kind of stopped. You know, people stopped blowing each other up, and now the old guard, the IRA folks, are beginning to die, and we're just ready to import a new wave of terrorism from other places.
Yeah, but your terrorism isn't up to snuff anymore, so you have to import.
Yeah,
Exactly. It needs to be compliant with the latest terrorism standards.
Like
Obviously,
they're-
if anyone in IRA is still worth their salt, they are going like, okay, maybe now it's time to start more terrorism against these new terrorists because they're taking our jobs.
They took our gerbs.
That makes perfect sense, really.
Yes, it
But-
does. I mean, it's kind of it's kind of funny because IRA, you have military. Well, the part of Irish military that's not under IRA, you have it everywhere, and it's just shooting people on sight, and then you have these people who just run with a car into people and start stabbing policemen, and after that they get shot.
It's kind of funny actually, because this guy, this McGuinness, he quit his last job as a politician because he found out, or because his political party and those associated with it were using it to embezzle money into companies. So yeah, an ex-IRA man quits politics because of embezzlement, and then dies a month later.
That's not suspicious at all.
Health problems.
I find it kind of nice that he didn't have the stomach for politics.
Well, he joined the IRA when he was 21 and started shooting British people. But politics were too much for him.
Politics are too much. Shooting British people is simple. Just point at a British person and shoot.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
In politics, you can't shoot anybody that overtly.
If Astra's here, we'd probably ask her for comments, but she's not here.
She's not here. Well, and then of course you have the have the people in Britain who happen to be brown and they happen to have a child trafficking ring, and it goes for a decade, and the police is like, well, I don't want to be racist.
Oh
And
yeah,
if it was an Irish trafficking gang, it would be like, okay, they are all dead. We shot them this afternoon.
Speaking of shooty and killy and people shooting stuff, there was a little thing happened in the UC where some dude was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna, yeah, UC," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not happy, so I'm just gonna go and shoot a bunch of people near Parliament." That's
And
gonna be
shoot
grand.
He didn't shoot them. He used a car.
Yep.
It
he
was a
ran
car that was
across a
fucking-
bridge.
Yeah,
and
those
straight
fucking cars. We should just ban them already.
Just get rid of all the cars. Let's do it now.
Yeah. And then he took a knife and stabbed a policeman who happened to not be a policeman that day anymore because he was off shift and he didn't have a gun.
Well,
And then the other policeman shot the guy with the knife.
see,
But-
most British police people don't carry guns, but outside the Houses of Parliament where this happened, yeah.
Yeah, because they're out of the area, so they are not protecting anything anymore. So I have a gun. Well, there's a reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons recently. In fact, if I ever went to vote in Ireland, whether we could carry guns or not, I would be right there voting to carry guns, and I would be
That's-
shooting anyone who would vote against me.
There's many reasons. There's many reasons arriving to Britain every day. The fun part that day was that my friend just decided to go to London that very week.
Oh, really?
And now you
Yeah,
regrets
there.
it.
I was like, okay, well, that you picked the best week to do that. Okay, I'm going to wait until the evening so you appear on the Facebook, and if you don't, then I assume you were ran over by a car. She did appear. She was not run over by a car.
That's good. That's good.
Did you
Yes.
congratulate her on getting the high score? I mean,
Well,
surviving.
I was like, hi. She was like, I'm okay. I'm like, yeah, I heard there was a car running over some people. And I was like, who let you drive?
Classic.
Oh, you.
She appreciated the joke. Obviously, I'm pretty okay with the fact that she's okay.
Pretty. So you're not
Yeah.
enthralled. Just okay.
I'm not merely okay with it. I'm pretty okay with it.
Okay, that's cool. Also, we had yet another terrorist attack, and we of course
Another
have,
day, another day, whatever.
and we have fucking people defending this shit. They're like, yeah, this is basically our fault, and I think the mayor of London was even like, these terrorist attacks all part of a multicultural society.
No.
You just have to get used to it.
That's basically what it comes down to.
I freaking hate these people.
They weren't saying that when the IRA were blowing them up.
Nope.
Obviously, because Irish are white, which means they have no culture.
Obviously.
And in fact, I remember the news reports in the 80s and 90s. They were pretty mean to the Irish, to the IRA for blowing them up. I mean, they would say terrible things. That we were scumbags and scum of the earth and not worth living, and that they wanted to hunt us down into every hole there was and burn us all alive. Things like that. So I don't understand why suddenly blowing people up and running them over with cars is acceptable behavior when it wasn't before.
But times change.
We
Oh,
just have to be more inclusive and
Yes,
accepting
you
of
have
other-
to be more diverse with the terrorist attacks.
Oh.
Don't kill more children.
You're just not doing multiculturalism right, Panboy.
Yeah.
You're just not. You're probably just a bigot. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I
I'm sorry to say it. You're a bigot.
That's probably true. I have a disrespect for anyone who decides to use, violent weaponry, including motor vehicles. I just don't like those kind of people. I think they're bad. I don't respect them at all. I
That's-
just cannot accept their beliefs.
Well, that's very big of it because that's a part of their tradition, and you should be more open to different cultures.
Exactly. See,
I know, I know.
Even Xaverius is more, you know, multicultural than you.
Yes, yes, I'm very multi-culti.
Hmm?
I really need to be more accepting of the culture of car murder. I mean,
Yes,
it's in their holy book that thou
yeah.
shalt drive thy Ford Fiesta over thy infidels.
Yeah, exactly. It's an ancient tradition in their part of the world.
Hmm? I mean, you deserve it. I mean, colonialism and whatnot. You are personally responsible for it.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't even believe in Allah. You're basically asking for it. Come on.
Yeah, that
I
too.
know. That is a shame. I really need to start believing in Allah.
Hmm?
Maybe if I believe in Allah, the people in countries that my country are allied with will stop being murdered.
I don't think it works like that.
But then how does it work?
But then you don't
Well-
get to eat any bacon. I'm not sure if you can.
Well, first you need to start believing in Allah, and then Allah will stop wanting you to get murdered.
Uh huh. Oh, I need
Bacon.
Allah to not want me to be murdered as well. Okay.
Bacon
This is all very
worth
confusing.
killing for.
Except that it's pretty much, you know, even expected to die, because, you know, you'd be going to heaven with all the.
Yeah, but that's a different thing. Artrix. See, Allah loves all people
Hmm?
when they love Him back.
Except when you're
But-
filthy infidel, then you can just fuck
Yeah,
off and die.
but he
Or
loves
you are-
he loves even the infidels. He loves them so much that he offers them a place in his kingdom. You know?
Huh? I'm not sure if I'm going to take him up on that.
So he's sending his friendly messengers to you know
Speed up the process.
exactly to offer this benefit and to help all those poor unbelievers into the kingdom of heaven. He's a pretty nice guy.
Hmm? Pretty good.
Yeah.
He's so nice.
I feel overjoyed. Like I can't contain my happiness right now. Like tears are running down my eyes right now.
And in your unkempt bushy beard because Allah says so.
Hmm? Oh yeah, I definitely have to, you know, get rid of my razors and my shaving. I can't do that anymore.
Those are the tools of Satan, my friend.
Hmm? Exactly. I can do that.
Yeah.
I need to look as much as.
As a person who lives in a cave, which is exactly the image of the prophet, because he was just a guy who lived in a cave. But it was a really nice cave.
Hmm? I'm sure it was. I'm sure it's like the smoking pipes and whatnot,
Yeah.
because smoking is completely allowed in Islam's. It's just.
Oh, it's
you
not
know,
alcohol. I mean, alcohol is poison.
but you know,
As-
putting
as
tar in
every-
your.
As every Islamic person would tell you in between his 40th and 41st cigarette of the day.
Yes.
But apparently, cocaine is completely okay.
Basically, as long as it's not alcohol, it's fine.
It's like what Allah doesn't know about doesn't matter. It's not a problem.
So in other words, we just have to invent a completely new drug, and it'll be perfectly fine because it's not in scripture.
Yeah, they're nice rule benders. It's like, okay, what does the book say about this? Oh, it's not in the book. It must be okay.
Hmm?
I mean, that's
Well,
why
it's
they
better-
that's why they use guns.
And from what I've heard, actually, this kind of happened with Christianity, more specifically with Protestantism. Well, when Protestantism became a thing, when they like separated from the Catholic Church, there were two main branches. One said that if it's not in the Bible, or if the Bible doesn't forbid it, it's okay. The other one said that if the Bible doesn't specifically allow it, or if it's not in the Bible, then ban it. From what I've heard, the second branch, the ban everything branch, then went to America and
Yep.
became the basis of today's USA.
Oh,
And
dear.
Amishes.
Yeah.
And the other branch stayed here, and it was nice in the 15th century. They all got naked and were running around in a barn and around the barn, and then the other part of them arrived and were like, "What is this faggotry? Get into the barn and set it on fire," and they did.
And then they won the prize, I guess.
Well, the prize was okay. There's one last sect, and we are the best. And hey, let's go on the mountain and evade rapture, because that's also what they were doing. The
that-
Protestant sects were awesome.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Except it's not.
And now LA is the faggiest place in the USA.
Are,
Oh no,
you-
San Francisco.
are you
is
talking
worse.
about San Francisco? But
Yeah, San Francisco is worse.
That's right next to it. Come on.
that's very true. That's very true. Anyway, I think we had another topic.
We did.
Yeah, but I can't for life remember it.
I can find a topic. I just can go to the news site and it's like, okay. There's something about Trump. That there
There's
was some
always
there
something
was
about
some
Trump.
There's always
naked-
something about Trump.
Yes, there were some naked people protesting at the gates of Auschwitz.
Why
I don't
would
know
they
why.
do that?
What were they protesting anyway?
They are Polish. They can protest anything you can imagine. Okay, they killed a sheep. Like, just the first sentence is good. And then they got naked and chased themselves to the gate. And but why?
Yeah, why?
Why do you kill the sheep?
Was this a PETA protest? PETA tend to murder a lot of animals.
I don't know. They were okay. They were from what's it called?
Belarus.
Yes, Belarus. Yes, thank you. From Belarus, Poland, obviously, and there was a single German. I guess it was the token German.
Mhm.
And apparently, by killing a sheep and then getting naked and chaining themselves to a gate of this monument of the Nazi regime, they were protesting against the war at Ukraine.
What?
Polish people.
You're describing this, and you know words are coming out, and you're laying down the basic premise, and I still don't have no fucking clue what this is supposed to.
Oh, it goes down to Polish people are absolutely crazy.
So Polish people to protest the war in Ukraine went to Belarus and sacrificed a sheep.
No.
Yeah, they went to
Poland, it was
Auschwitz.
In Auschwitz, yes, in a
Oh,
concentration camp that was famous because it was built by Germans and used by Germans to kill Poles and Gypsies and Slavs in
Jews.
general.
And undesirables in general.
Nobody cares about Jews. Yeah, and they're protesting against war in Ukraine. Okay, this makes perfect sense. Good job.
I
Also-
agree.
You're oh, good.
And another Polish news I read earlier this day. There was some sort of exposition about the Second World War and the suffering it brought and stuff like that, you know, in the museum, the standard stuff. And the prime minister or one of the politicians, I think the leader of the party that's in the power right now, he protested against it. It's like, no, this is, I mean, okay, it's about the war. That's good. War was terrible. But this is not Polish enough. Why are you talking about other states? This is Poland. We are the best. We are the only one who ever had resistance. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's totally true.
That's
That's
totally
totally true. The Poles were the only peoples that resist. That were part of the resistance.
I think the current government in Poland might be trying to change the history a bit.
Hmm?
But
A bit.
they didn't win a war, so they're not allowed to.
Well, they are trying to pretend they were the best at not winning the war. You know, it's like we didn't win, but we are totally like keeping the Germans out. Even
I
though
mean,
they occupy us.
I mean, the Dutch are part of the resisty, but we're not exactly going around and saying how badass we were. I mean, we were hanging around doing a bunch of
Yeah.
shit, but you know,
But yeah, then Germany sent 2 tanks here, and we were screwed.
I mean, the Dutch resisty was just sort of hanging out in Canada until there was like a big attack, and then we decided, well, you
Yeah.
know what, we're just gonna join in. What else?
Okay, America is going back to the Second World. I guess we'll join then. Okay. Meanwhile, our guys were in Britain and were getting shot at in planes.
Mm.
It was like 50% survival or not. Well, I guess I have nothing better to do. I'm gonna defend this island.
Well, and you
I'll
get
just
and
Get in an airplane, get murdered,
and
as you
eventually
do.
and
Or
eventually
murder other people.
and eventually you guys had to deal with the Russias and the Soviets and
Yes. Well,
communism.
we didn't deal with them very well.
Mm.
I actually read a few memories of one of those pilots, and that was actually a very terrible casualty rate on those planes.
Oh yeah,
mean,
most people died.
Yes, exactly, and it was World War II era planes. It was just a motor and few pieces of metal cobbled to it, and hoping it's not going to fall apart.
But it was fine because they were only be shot down by World War II era guns, right?
This is true. Scatter 2 kilometers.
It's not like they had heat-seeking missiles yet. No, they just literally filled the air with shrapnel.
Yeah,
What
and-
could go wrong?
And most of the times they had to point the plane at the other plane, so
As it turns out, everything
unless
could go
it
wrong.
was a bomber. Bomber had actual turrets. Of course, the field of view out of those turrets was miserable, so the bomber still had to weave and bob and do all of sorts of shitty stuff.
I don't know if you've ever seen the kind of maneuvers a B-17 can make, but there's not many.
Exactly. And the best thing about those bombers was that some of them were against Navy,
Oh,
which means
yeah.
the fucking thing had to go right above the ships or right next to the ships, almost on the sea level, so they could hit anything. And I was just like, okay, fire that bomb and just go straight up because fuck it.
Because I don't know if you know it, but the term firewall we use to describe our computer's defense system comes from naval warfare, where the boats would have so many giant machine guns on the side of them that they would just fire up into the sky and it would look like a wall made of fire.
Yes,
Wow.
they were hoping they hit something because a boat of that size can't really turn very well. And
Nope.
that's what the bombers were trying to exploit. Just get from their bad side. Yeah, ideally when they don't know about you, drop the bomb and get the hell out of there.
And hope that wall of machine gun fire doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. That was actually one of the night raids they did because it was kind of foggy or cloudy. They didn't see anything, and they saw a light on like, okay, guys, let's check this out. And they went to the light, and they suddenly got out of the fog, and there were 4 fucking boats right on top of each other. It's like, oh, fuck. So they started turning around and just dropped the bomb just by the way and fucked out of there. And yeah, they survived. But usually the primary thing the pilots did to not think about the danger was like, not gonna happen to me. That was all they could do.
Oh shit!
Oh,
apparently,
yeah.
someone else. Apparently, someone in Belgium also tried to perform a car attack.
There was some stuff in Antwerp.
Oh, when did this happen? Because I haven't heard about this.
Day after the London, I think.
So that was yesterday.
Yeah, in Antwerp, the man was of African origin and used a car with French plates. And a Belgian prosecutor said a rifle and bladed weapons were found in the car.
Mm.
And the driver was a French national, but it just said he was African.
Obviously, Panboy, it was a French national. Like the guy in Britain was British national, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. They're like, this African who is French was trying to murder everyone with his car.
I mean,
Yes.
in the case of the British guy, was like he was an Asian.
Yeah,
Like, what does that mean?
age is pretty big, bro. I mean, it goes all the way from, well, the opposite side of China to well, the near side of Russia, and there isn't really a divide. It's just we decide that's not Asia anymore.
Mhm.
That's true. Well, there's some mountains. Let's call it a quit.
Yeah, those mountains kind of serve as the
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a fault line, so it's there's a tectonic plate.
Yeah, I think there's like a mountain range in
Yeah,
Russia
but
that's generally
you,
considered.
you think they knew that back then when they made the division? So okay,
No.
it doesn't end. My God, it's just Asia all over. Oh, hey, a mountain range. Fuck yeah.
Well,
It ends here.
This is now the border between Europe and Asia. Good
Yeah,
luck with that.
Like, thank God there's this mountain range. Otherwise, Asia would be all over Europe.
Well, a few times it almost wasn't.
Well, a few times it was. I mean, Golden Horde and that stuff.
Well, that's why Mulan defeated the Huns.
Hmm. That's the only reason she did it.
I mean, Asia is the reason why Slavs are where they currently are, because we were, okay with living in Russia, and then there's all these Mongolians. I guess we just have to pack our bags and go to Europe, because
Also,
they just keep killing us.
This
Also,
reminds me.
Polite reminder: Slavic people are the only reason why Western Europe is so advanced as it is, because we just get all of those Mongolians and Turks off of your backs.
Look.
That too. I mean, you have to give a bit of credits to the Celts and the Romans who stole some of the Celtic technology.
Romans invented very sharp, pointy metal swords.
Yeah.
Were much stronger than anything from Mongolia or Eastern
And,
Asia.
and Celts were also good at building houses from stone that did not fall down.
Mhm.
And they were very useful, even against Romans, though eventually they lost because Romans had strategy.
Strangely, the Irish came up with this bizarre idea to build these tall towers and then hide in them when the Vikings came, which was a really bad idea because the Vikings would just come up to the tower, block up the door, and set it on fire.
Fucking Vikings. Yeah, the thing about Vikings was that after they set all the towers in Europe on fire and got rid of all those Celts, they're like, okay, sweet, Celtic loot. And then they used the tools from the Celts, and then the tools broke down. And the Germans or the Germanic tribes were like, okay, what now? How do I make more? And then they didn't, because they just had no idea how to replicate and replace those things that Celts had. So you had this nice Celtic plow that helped you to blow the field quite efficiently, and you're a poor guy from the north and you have no idea how that works. So you just take a piece of wood that happens to be bent and use that instead of it.
Yeah, funnily enough, that still happens today. Our friend Trijan was telling us a story not so long ago that they had giant forestry saws that were made like 200 years ago, and nobody knows how to make them anymore. But these 200-year-old saws, they're like the best saws for cutting down big trees. But the art of manufacturing them has been lost to the ages.
So it's this ancient advanced culture that you can replicate.
That would be that would be the American settlers.
Well, yeah, except in the Germanic tribes case, it kind of bumped Europe a few hundred years back, and then the Romans were like, "Lol, what the fuck are you doing?" and started chasing them around the forests. And then one day the Germans was like, "Okay, the Roman Empire is not good. It's not looking. Let's sack Rome." And then they went and sacked Rome.
Although, speaking of everyone being so united in hating each other recently, Shia LaBeouf's new installation has already been shut down.
Didn't he?
They finally got it?
No, the 4chaners didn't get to it. They got very close. They got on the roof and they were gonna do things to the flag. But apparently zip ties were too much for 4chan. But
okay, that's classical fortune story. They get into secured object, bluff their way up to the roof, and they are stopped by zip ties.
It's like, oh my god, they used zip ties.
My only weakness.
It's this private building with security and cameras and everything. They get past all that and there's zip ties.
I mean, like, why didn't they just bring another flag? That's what I would have done.
Or a knife.
I mean, okay, maybe if I can't get the flag down, who cares? I can just put up Pepe.
Yeah,
would've-
I was here basically.
But no. The installation was shut down because of dangerous trespassing.
Oh my god. So they did it in a way.
Oh yeah, yo, dude. Because I don't think Shia LaBeouf quite understands that he has indeed united people, not in the way he intended at all.
It's true.
Oh yes.
He underestimated the autism he's against.
He has united the world against him in the most fantastic
An hilarious way.
ARG game ever to come.
He will truly not divide us. And his problem is he didn't specify what the he exactly means. Like a he? Okay. Shia, you are he, right? And then he did not divide us. It is beautiful. Like when you watched the shots from the time when the cameras were still public, or the first camera, and then there was those fortune meetups, and you had yellow people, you had white people, you had brown people, you had even girls, probably a tribe or two, and then there's the supporters, and it's just people who look like AIDS Skrillex, except older. What is this? This is your diversity.
I think that's a common trend with all these diversity meetings that the I guess the leftist type people like to throw. They always look like the biggest mayonnaise parties you've ever seen, and it is kind of hilarious. They're all telling everyone else, "Stop being oppressive. Stop singling people out. Be more diverse." And then you look in the window, it's like, are you all white? Girls,
all the
hair, every one of you.
And like,
the whiteness is blinding me.
They're fighting for the women, black LGBT laws, rights. And then the LGBT black people are like, you faggot. And go back to shitposting because they don't care about this.
Mm-hmm. I love the modern era. I also hate the modern era.
Indeed. I agree with myself
Yes.
because I'm good.
You're the goodest.
I'm the most goodest.
But how good are you?
Yes.
That's good enough for me. Sekele, didn't you have a topic to bring up?
Well,
Something
kind
cartoon.
of hard to remember because I think I forgot half of it now. Well, there was that. We're already talking about the Yooka-Laylee shit. Well, there was that thing with it's basically it's spring in Slovakia. I live near a swamp. Well, basically the entire part of the city Bratislava I live in was built on the top of a swamp.
Oh,
the
because
swamp
it's on the fucking river.
Well, yeah, and basically the swamp still surrounds us. And now, since it is spring and all, fucking toads everywhere. And by fucking toads, I mean toads
Literally.
that actually are fucking
Oh,
everywhere.
Lewd.
Well, you know how toads fuck. You have a man toad, and the man toad
You have
is
one
sitting on...
female toad and
Yes.
then 2 or 3 male toads on top.
Exactly. I was about to say that. The guy toad is sitting on the woman toad because those are twice as big or thrice as big, and sometimes there's 2 of those toads on this toad, and just hop around and are toads, and you just have to watch your step because if you don't, then you end up just walking on toads because there's so many toads that there are toads on toads because there's just no space on the ground.
And don't forget that toads are toxic.
That's a detail.
They have toxic skin.
So,
don't lick them.
So what you're saying that in Slovakia, instead of having soda frickin' roadways, you got toad roadways?
Yes.
In a way.
Yes.
I mean, they are starting to build barricades, well, not barricades, fences around the roads so that the toads wouldn't go on the roads and don't get killed.
Because that's what toads do, indeed. Then you
Yeah,
just
toads are pretty stupid.
Well, actually, it's probably a bigger risk to traffic. Like,
Yes, it is.
toads are
Because
slimy to get under your
Yep.
wheels and you hydroplane.
yeah, well, the toads don't care because they are made into a mush in a second. But the cars have the problem with that when the entire road is covered by flat toads.
It basically becomes one big slide,
Basically, it's as useful as solo roadways.
Yes. Well, no.
Except, well, it doesn't catch fire. Okay.
yeah, exactly.
There's one upside to toad roadways over solo roadways.
And there's probably less friction than on a sort of freaking roadway. And also they don't break like sort of freaking roadways. And
They are definitely cheaper.
they're definitely cheaper than sort
And
of freaking
they are
roadways.
eco-friendly.
They're very environmentally friendly. I mean, it's made of nothing but biological materials.
Okay, here you have it, folks. Next time you build a road, make it out of toads.
Just make it out of toads. We can milk this. We can go further. I mean, we're just scraping the surface here. See what did there? Surface road.
So you actually don't have to scrape them. I mean,
No.
after a while they dry up, and with the cars running over them constantly, they're just turned to dust.
Well, maybe toads are made of like a material that when it dries, it becomes even more solid than concrete and whatnot. So
It's all the slime, man.
yeah, and since it's slime, it becomes nice and smooth. No need to even it out. I mean, it is a liquid, so it's
Yeah.
perfectly flat road surface. Unlike sort of freaking roadways that break and then you have like glass shatters all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh
You have to go and replace your tires, and those fuckers are expensive.
Oh god,
Right, so
you
then
realize that you'll have to replace a lot more than your tires if a solar roadway shatters. You'll have to replace the entire windscreen of the car behind you and the lives of all its occupants.
And
That's expensive,
also
especially.
your
that.
car's mask and probably most of the paint on the front side.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there that those tiles shattering is not going to be good for anyone at
Well,
all.
It's hard glass, and hard glass doesn't shatter that easily. But when it shatters, it's these big chunks, and they have many sharp sides, and it's fun for the whole family.
But guys, listen. LEDs.
Huh.
That you can fucking see at the wrong angle, which is like 90%
Or
of the time.
even at the right angle during the day.
You can barely see them. Supposedly you can't even see them at night because of the angle.
Of course not.
You need to
They're-
be a toad sitting right on top of them.
They're inset into a
Yeah,
certain-
at least you can see a toad from every angle. But an LED,
Yeah, toads are plastic.
well, they have the shiny surface, so
Yeah, they can be seen from a distance.
Exactly. And also, you don't care because you're in a fucking car and that's toad, and
So-
it's really squishy.
In short, toads are superior to solar roadways.
in every way imaginable.
Yep. Just take a bunch of toads into a bucket and apply them to your road.
Yep. Just chuck that shit on the road. You don't even have to smear it all out because it'll happen automatically. It's low maintenance. It's perfect.
It's advanced. It's the road surface of the next century.
We may be the
Toads.
we may be the least professional podcast on the internet, but we're already more professional than whoever came up with solar freaking roadways.
Apparently, the installation they built, they got it working again, and then it went on fire.
Good job.
I don't think their ideas are going very well.
Well, I heard they had people stomping on them in attempt to break the lights, and it worked.
That does not surprise me at all.
These things sound very durable.
Yes, well, they can't stand up to teenagers standing on them, so I think they'll do pretty well against 40-ton trucks. Or actually, don't trucks carry significantly more than that?
Depends on the truck.
Mhm. We need to do the math on how many trucks it's going to take to
I'm going
mush
to-
solar roadway into paste.
I'm going to Google it.
Well,
The
now,
Class 2 truck gross vehicle weight rating ranges from 6,000 to 10,000 pounds. That's not that much.
now I imagine like 6 trucks standing on top of one another, on top of a sort of freaking roadway. So it's like a stack of trucks.
Okay. A heavy duty truck, Class 9. Actually, no, the Class 9 doesn't have for some reason to wait here. Okay, Class 8. Trucks over 33,000 pounds. And they have
33,000. Okay, that's 300 tons, isn't it? Or is it 30 tons?
I don't understand pounds, so I don't know.
Pounds is
Hey,
just
Just
multiply.
33,000 pounds is about 15,000
Yeah,
kilos.
exactly.
So 15 tons.
15 tons. 15 metric tons.
Ouchies. That actually doesn't sound that heavy when you consider like a tank is 50 tons.
And an average car is a ton, so... Well, except it's my car, it's like 1.5 tons.
Well, they are big and heavy trucks, and okay, I know what a truck with cars on it. That must be pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 16 tons just from the cars.
Yep.
So
Also,
let's take the truck and let's compare it on a solo roadway versus tolled roadway.
I have no idea who's going to win. No idea at all.
Obviously, the tolled roadway. Duh.
No, okay.
We should expand this and make a more inventions with toads. Like we can use our version of Hyperloop. Just use the slime from the toads as lubrication.
Oh,
you don't even need vacuum.
There we go. Yep. I mean, the Hyperloop is a shitty idea because even the smallest minute failure will have catastrophic consequences. But you know, a Hyperloop.
We don't need vacuum. We don't need rails. We just put this big tube and cover the inside with the slime from the toads.
We're just talking about the slime. Just toss in a bunch of toads, and they'll just. You see what happens. You see what happens. You just toss in the toads.
They'll do it automatically. I know.
Yeah, you just toss in the toads. They'll breed like there's no tomorrow. Before you know it, it's a tube that's like completely packed with toads. Like toad density is 100%. Every square millimeter is filled with toads. And then you just, jam an object through it and it'll become, it'll all turn into slime. And then you have the perfect Hyperloop.
The transportation of the future. Toad loop.
Toad loop. It's like a Hyperloop, but with toads.
Why don't they just build a straight train line?
Well, they did
just
that.
A hyper-speed train. One of those.
Panboy, didn't they do that in like 19th century?
Yes, but then the Americans pulled them all up for some reason.
They had to build roads over them.
Yes, rather than enhance their train lines, make them straighter and faster, they decided, what, cars are better, and then they decided to forget all about trains because cars were better. They just were at the time.
Then they still kind of are.
Well, because back then Americans didn't know that oil is a non-renewable resource, at least in the short term.
Well, you know what? Oil is a renewable resource now. There's so many alternatives that we can use that it's not really a big deal anymore. We don't need to stop burning combustion engines because we can just farm a whole bunch of rape.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I'm pretty sure that toads will make a good fuel source.
Everybody knows that the electromobiles are the future.
Yeah, except, okay, see, the problem there is people are all like, where'd you get the electricity for the electric car? They're like, magic. It's like, no, you get that electricity from your electric car from
I bet
oil.
that they are like, I have a gas generator at home.
Well, there's one point to be made about electric cars though, is that the exhaust is not at the point of operation, but far away where it's more controlled and whatnot. So
And
at least
they
you've
can-
got.
And they can be hacked.
And they can hack, but then again, you can also hack everyone.
They can hack me.
Oh,
I don't even have a.
I was reading a great story recently about the newest hackable on the market.
Nice.
Okay, let's make that our closing topic for today.
Is it a fridge?
No,
Hmm.
it's a lady, a lady's marital aid.
Ah.
And I thought you
Right.
were talking about John Deere tractors.
Oh,
Yeah.
those two. But no, there is this weird little panic happening about people are worried that Russians are going to hack their vibrators.
Well, Russians are hacking everything.
They're probably hacking our podcast right
I mean,
now.
CIA saying that they are hacked by Russians. Would you not believe CIA?
Well, it popped up in the news recently that there was a particular vibrator company that was selling wireless vibrators that were apparently actually sending information home, which is a violation of people's privacy when your vibrator is sending your vital statistics back to the company that made it. And so people were a bit upset about that. And that has sparked a bit of a controversy in the notion that, hey, well, if the company can be gathering our data from our vibrators, what's stopping everybody else from doing that?
Why would they do that?
I don't know. Market research.
No,
How many times a day do
actually,
you use your dong toy?
no, I think I know what the concept behind this one is. Because apparently there are like vibrators and other sex toys that you can use remotely, as in you can use them, but your partner also has a sex toy, so you can do all sorts of shit, and the partner will then get feedback based on how you use the sex toy. So I think the dude can have like this flashlight thing, and the lady's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stick it in here, and then the guy feels it.
Well, yeah, that kind of thing existed for a while, but that was that particular design was very explicitly paired, and it was like a one-to-one thing through an application on your computer, and it wasn't just a wireless toy you could have in you at any time, and then someone could randomly hack into it while you were at the supermarket.
Well, given that it does communicate and whatnot, I suppose you can hack it, but yeah, it's not. It's not like the way you describe this particular sex toy.
No, this one's just a vibrator that sends certain bits of information back to
To the
its
manufacturer.
host company. Yeah.
Yeah, that does make me wonder why that exists.
To improve your experience, I guess.
To improve your slicking sessions.
Yes.
Gotta make it perfect.
They have a team of vagina analysts, and they analyze your vagina.
Of course. It's very important to analyze those vaginas. Amy Schumer needs all of that content for her comedy show.
Yes.
Which is apparently getting like crazy low ratings on Netflix.
It's because she's a woman.
Obviously, it's
obviously.
not because he's not funny.
She's hilarious. Have you heard her jokes about her vagina?
Artrix, you should stop using fun as the decisive criterion for rating comedians.
Nope. Fun should not be the deciding factor. No. Makes.
You should just forget about fun when you're writing comedians.
Nope. Checkmate.
So outdated.
Checkmate, atheists. The comedy is not supposed to be funny. You heard it here first, guys. Especially guys. If you're a woman, it's completely funny.
This is a joke to you. This is serious comedy.
Serious comedy. That's serious.
That's pretty accurate.
Even Maud Pie, who I just drew, agrees. He's like, laughing is overrated.
My God, Artrix, you just drew a pony in the year 2017.
Speaking of which, apparently, you know, well, we all know that the new pony is coming in 2017.
Oh no.
There's not just gonna be a movie, but it's gonna be a new season. And apparently, they're from what I just gathered, they're actually trying new animation techniques and whatnot to make the movie. It's not just gonna
Have we
be
not learned our lessons yet?
the what now?
Nope.
Have we not learned? We learned nothing from the past 10 years.
But Panboy, what's so bad about new styles that make your favorite characters look like fish when they are displayed from the side?
Yeah, it is to be seen whether this shit's gonna be good. I don't have high hopes for it to begin with. So at best it's gonna be slightly amusing.
Well, it's kind of like what happens when a big franchise video game has all this hype behind it, so they know it's going to sell regardless, so they just fob it off to their quadruple D team, and it'll sell regardless. You know, it doesn't matter how bad it is.
That's the moment you go from a series to a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, at least with a series, you can expect there's an end. It's like, okay, this is a sequel or this is a trilogy, and that's it. But then you are a franchise, and it never fucking ends. I mean, look at Assassin's Creed. There was one point when New Year meant new Assassin's Creed.
Soon, I just really hope game companies in general realize that the rapid life cycle projects they have going on are hurting the games they're making, but they won't because people keep buying them.
Yes,
Well,
and
there is a
obviously,
point at which they stop.
they are not going to make new games because the old games are selling, you know, and then when they stop selling, they have to be like, oh shit, we don't have any new games, let's make a new game quick, and then make a new game, and it's going to be even shittier than the first game in the series that just ended, because at least that one was inspired, you know, because there was a new idea. This one is just, okay, quick, cash, something that people would like, make it as close as possible to the last series.
Well, in fairness, actually, Capcom have decided that with Resident Evil, they were going to go back and do what, you know, change the formula completely with the game that they released last year. And then you had Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which came out and everyone didn't buy it. So
I know I didn't buy it.
So franchise-itis is Call of Duty has finally fallen to the point that people are like, yeah. Sequels like this aren't going to cut it anymore. Even though Infinite Warfare actually was a bit of a departure, it was still just more COD though.
It had aliens, didn't it?
I don't know, I haven't played it.
Was that Black Ops, the one with the fantasy stuff and shit?
Black Ops tends to have kind of sci-fi stuff, but it's never really fantasy sci-fi. It's like, oh yes, this person built an EMP. It's like, oh,
cool,
okay,
boring.
Just, you know,
I have EMPs in my space games. Why would I need EMPs in my shooty games?
Like Black Ops is supposed to be the edgy Call of Duty, but
you know, the best game I played with EMPs was Equinox, because in that game it was submarines, but basically it was like a space sim. In that game, EMPs actually crippled the enemy ship to the point of not moving. That was nice. Not many games where they work like this.
Anyway,
usually they just like blast the shields away and that's it. The thing is still working. It's full of electronics. It should stop working.
Indeed.
Anyway, I think that wraps it up for this episode. We are hitting the 1.5 hour mark, so
yeah, hit the mark, hit it hard.
I hit him hard. So thank you for listening to yet another episode of Radio Rothingham. I hope you liked it, but you probably hated it. So if you hate it, especially
I ate it.
So if you like to hear more stories about toads and their versatile applications,
And property.
and
The
properties.
exciting frog toad properties, I mean.
Yes. So subscribe for more. Also like the video, add to your favorites, and see you next time for yet another episode of Radio Rothingham, these professional processes. Bye.
Good evening.
Buy all the toads. Do it now.